Now, we've got on the line Roger Holstein, who's going to talk about his book, 1 cent a Minute. So, good afternoon, Roger. How would you describe the book? What is the story?
Well, it started out by being a record for my family members, my sons, grandchildren, and great grandchildren, the whole family afterwards.
Yeah.
But as I completed the book, I realized there was a lot of interesting facts that people might learn from, and people would learn from if they're really interested in truth. And so that is basically the reason why I wrote the book. It took me 20 years to finish the book. The reason being that I was never satisfied with the wording, and I kept on making changes all the time. So basically, that's the reason.
Did you always want to write a book? Has it always been a dream, if you like?
Well, not really a dream per se, but I was, I was making every weekend. I was making a trip to some special places like the casinos in Atlantic City or other similar places. And I was, I'm very active on emails, and so I was sending these to various relatives, and they were including my brothers, my brother and my mother, and they were apparently, unbeknownst to me, they were actually very interested in what I was saying. I was kind of surprised. So one of my wife's relative was telling me, for her, she died of the relative died of cancer, but she told me, don't ever give up. She says, keep on writing and write everything related to what you think and do. So that's why I did it.
Yeah. Did you enjoy writing a book?
Yeah, I did enjoy writing a book. As I say, it took me 20 years in reviewing and reviewing again the wording I was using. So I never felt it was optimum. And finally, I decided, well, let's go for it. And, probably my English is not the best, but the facts I'm writing about are very interesting. So, yes, I enjoyed it. What's not there to enjoy?
So, what is your personal story? Because you've had quite an interesting life, haven't you?
I thought so, yeah. I had a very tough beginning of life because I was born just before World War II and in 1936. And I hate to say it, but I didn't have a good father. And we were like 7 in the family, and my mother had to do all the work. She was, really quite something. So the thing is, while my father was a professional photographer, so he went on the beaches of France, photographing beautiful women, and he brought along his oldest son Adam, and he told Adam, he said, don't call me father in front of the women. So that gives you an idea of what kind of a man he was.
Yeah, because you grew up during World War II.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, and what was the impact on your life?
Well, it had a deep impact on my life. As I said, we had the Americans were throwing bombs at us, and allegedly to save us. And in the process, they were killing many French people. These are facts that I've never seen covered anywhere. And, I remember we were traveling in a train, and all of a sudden you hear the siren, and they say, oh, everybody get out of the train. So we run out under the trees, and then we hear the planes were actually shooting at us. So it was people were screaming, especially the women. And like when we were attacked in Strasbourg, it was really very, you could hear people screaming, they were trying to save themselves. And so it was pretty bad. One of my sisters, well, in fact, my only sister, she was run over by an American truck driver, a GI, and he killed her. And, he was drunk at the time. So, whenever I hear somebody getting drunk and driving, it upsets me. And in fact, to follow up on what you were asking, every 4th of July here, we live in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and people are going crazy on the 4th of July. It's like one firecracker after another. It's like hell. And it reminds me of the war. It's really very irritating. So the impact was one, and in many ways, even though I was born very poor, I'm happy I was born very poor. The reason being that now if I get anything good happening in my life, I appreciate it a lot more. So, everything that happened in my life, even though at the time it was an embarrassment for me to wear those horrible clothes, it's good that it happened to me because, as I say, now I do appreciate every little good thing that happens to me.
Yeah, that's an important thing to have in your life, I suppose. You were born in Paris, weren't you? So were you experiencing World War II in Paris, where I suppose a lot more action, if you like, would be happening compared to other parts of France?
No, actually, I was very young at the beginning of the war. I was maybe like 3 or 4 years old. So, you don't remember much, do you? I mean, when you were young, 3, 4 years, do you remember things clearly?
No.
So anyway, I don't remember everything, but the house that we lived at the time, it was bombarded, by, I don't know who bombarded it, if it was the Germans or the Americans, but anyway, it was the island of the city is. Have you ever been to Paris yourself?
Yes, I was there earlier this year.
So the island of the city. It's called Cité. You know it.
Where the Notre Dame is, right?
Yeah, Notre Dame. In fact, I was born in a hospital. It's not no more in a hospital, but it's called Hôtel Dieu, which God's hotel. And I was born in that hospital, and right next to the Cathedral Notre Dame of Paris. And that's why some people think they see a halo over my head. It's a joke. It's a joke. So anyway, so we mostly, like when France was occupied by the Germans, Poland was occupied by the Germans too, and actually nearly all of Europe. And the thing is that we could travel easily to Poland. And my mother was born in Poland, in Girardot, in case you know the city or not. But it's right next to the capital of Poland, and that's where she was born. And so our family history, if you go further than that, my mother was telling me that we were noble in Germany 6 generations ago, but I was never able to trace back the actual connections.
Yeah. And then I suppose after that, when you weren't a child anymore, you worked for television studios in Montreal in Canada.
Yes.
Was that fun?
Yes, it was extremely fun, actually. I really absolutely loved working for the TV studios, which I was always attentive to my work. And so I got the reputation of being one of the best in the field. And so I worked on all of their most important shows. And it was a lot of fun. I'm basically a artsy kind of fellow. In fact, I wanted to open my own theater in Florida, but it was all so expensive, and I had those sons and my wife to feed, so I gave up the idea. But it would have been a lot of fun to do that. So I really enjoyed it, and I enjoyed it particularly in Hollywood for KTLA because you know people you saw on the big screen, all of a sudden they're in front of you. That's
Yeah.
a very strange feeling, you know. So yeah, I enjoyed it tremendously. I really did. But
Yeah.
then when I came to Florida, I was attempting to work for the local TV studios, but they paid like half what they paid in Hollywood. So I didn't go back to the studios.
Well, your current book is called 10 Cents a Minute.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to write even more books?
Yes, actually, I do.
Mm.
Yeah. In fact, all these, these short stories I wrote, to the people I was writing it for. I still get copies of them, and I have to organize them a little bit. But I certainly intend to. This would be like complementary to the book that I wrote, because it happened in the same period of time.
Yeah. Where are we able to find your book, 10 Cents a Minute, in the meantime?
Well, for the time being, it's still not available, but it's going to be shortly available. Amazon is my main source, but you'll be able to find them also in the, let's see, what's the name of the big book supplier?
Barnes and Noble,
Yeah,
maybe?
yeah. You will be able to find them there, and also let's see, also one big website. I don't remember the name, but I'm not good in remembering. I'm not good at remembering name. Never was, and that's one of the things that limited me in my life. I'm a very good actor, but I don't remember my lines too well, so I was never able to hit it big.
Yeah. Well, many thanks for joining us on the show today. It's been very great to have you on.
Well, thank you very much, and it was a pleasure for me to be interviewed by you. Wish you good luck in your life.